Hi guys, it's Dr. Hardy, your pediatric obesity expert. Today I want to talk about bloated bellies. So as you know, I've seen a lot of patients over the years and I get referrals from primary doctors about kids with elevated BMIs and kids who are overweight or have obesity. And one of the things, the major drivers that brings these parents to my office is the complaint of the bloated belly or big belly or distended belly, however they want to say it. They are worried when they see this belly growing. So I thought I'd put out a video about it. It is an issue. It does look concerning when you see the little kids like running around the park and you wonder, like, is there a mass in the belly, which is something that your primary doctor would probably rule out. Do they have a big liver? Like, what is causing the belly to be big? But the majority of the time, it's not anything like cancer or mass in the belly. Majority of the time, the younger they are, they don't have fatty liver, but many do. But the fatty liver doesn't really cause this big distended belly most of the time. You know, usually we find fatty liver from getting labs. So the main issues that I see from a big belly, guys, is processed foods. But let's take it back before we get even into processed foods. One of the major reasons that is common and it can or cannot be related to the elevated BMI is lactose. So a lactose intolerance. So most people know that from milk, or people who have a tummy ache or bloated belly or distension after eating ice cream or drinking milk. But lactose can be hidden in other foods like salad dressings, baked goods. What else? I know, like, I had a major issue with lactose from brownies. Like, in one particular brand of brownies, like, my stomach would just blow up. And I know that certain kids have the same thing, but it's that processed powder that makes the brownie. And you just don't really think about it because it's brown and it's in a cake, but there's still lactose in there. So what else? Certain candies can have lactose too, so those kids that love candy. And then I'll go into a little bit of I'll just go into like the top 5 reasons why your child can have a bloated belly. And first we will talk about lactose. So let me explain. So let's go into a little explainer video. Okay, so lactose. Lactose is a sugar, and it's 2 sugar molecules connected to each other. In this diagram, you see glucose, which is one form of sugar, and galactose is the other, and they're connected together. Now, we have a little protein in our small intestine called lactase. And that lactase is in the lining of the small intestine, so when that food that we eat goes down our digestive tract, it meets lactase in the small intestine and it splits the sugar in 2. And once it's split in 2, we can digest it properly without bloating. But a lot of us don't have lactase in our small intestine, or we have a really small amount and it's not sufficient enough to do its job, and so it leaves behind lots of this molecule of the glucose and galactose together. And then as it goes through our small intestine, it can't get digested. We feel pain, we feel bloating. And a lot of the kids that I see with these big bellies do so much better when we remove lactose. Another thing is that older kids can probably get a breath test to diagnose lactose intolerance. And what this breath test does, and let me just silence my phone here. And what this breath test does is detect hydrogen in your breath. So you blow into an apparatus, and if there's lots of hydrogen, it's positive, okay? Because when you don't break this molecule and it's still together and you're getting all this tummy ache and bloating, and it tries to get digested by the bacteria in your large intestine, what happens is that bacteria start releasing hydrogen and carbon dioxide, and that's what gives the stinky farts, like those sulfuric acid, rotten egg smelling farts. But that hydrogen also comes out in the breath, and that would turn the test positive. For younger kids who cannot do a breath test, you can do an elimination diet and remove lactose from their diet, remove all cheese and, dairy products to the best of your ability. And if the symptoms get better, well, then you found your answer. And so then you can start giving them foods without lactose. Now you have to be careful. You don't want to deprive them of a certain amount of calcium that they need, and so you will have to find alternatives to get your child that calcium. So how are you going to get this calcium into your child? Well, I like almond milk. I recommend it. It has 24% of the daily value of calcium needed. And then green leafy vegetables. I know it's hard to get kids to eat vegetables, but you can blend them in smoothies and even turn a smoothie into a popsicle, and they might like that. So you can get creative. You can go online and find all these different ideas on how to get green leafy vegetables into your child and prevent the bloating. So hopefully many of you will find that this is the issue and it's nothing major, and we'll go into the second reason that your child can have a big belly. Has anyone here had this problem, eliminated dairy, and found that their child was all better? Just leave it in the comments. I want to hear some stories about these bloated bellies, and if I can answer any other questions for you about lactose intolerance, put it in the comments below. All right, next video will be on the second reason why your child can have a bloated belly. See you then.